Hello and welcome to Soul Basics Soul Chat. Today we are talking with Peter Debaere. Peter is a musician and a devoted father. He loves to travel and loves being in nature whenever he can, and plans on hiking Mount Kilimanjaro someday soon. Since his adolescence, though, Peter suffered much trauma, which led to many years of depression. I would also like to say that Peter is a truly beautiful and sensitive soul. And yes, I might be a little bit biased because I am his auntie, but I am not wrong. Peter, I am so grateful that you're here today. Can you share with us
Really?
yeah. Can you share with us some of the things that led to your depression?
Yes, I can. So when I was a kid, um, what I'm very sure of is that my parents weren't happy together at all. Um, they were very, very frustrated with each other. And growing up, visiting other families, where things were different, I actually started to notice the vibe at our house being very negative. Um, so there was always a side you had to pick as well. That was the feeling that me and my brother would get, is that you or loved dad, you loved mom. You couldn't love both.
Oh,
Um, so I wouldn't say there was much physical abuse, though there were some unnecessary hard hits, slaps in the face, and some kicks, um, and things that I do not do with my son today, but maybe that was another time as well. I don't know. Like sitting on your knees, holding your hands above your head for a half an hour, way too long, till your knees.
obviously from the same family. I know that punishment.
Yeah. Um, but that did not stick with me though. I don't really, that was not something I had to like get over, or
Yeah.
it was much more the things my parents and then said to me and then did, when they divorced and after they divorced. Um, so when I was like 14, 15 years old, I was they were like really starting to fight like really hard, and it was getting clear that they were gonna separate. And I remember this school project. I don't know how to say this in English, but where students of my class and some teachers would go over to Poland for, I think, 10 days. And each of us would stay with a family over there that had a son or daughter our age, to then later on that son or daughter would come to our country and for 10 days and stay with the family of the same person that went there. So I remember being being treated very, very, very well by those people there. They were absolutely so excited that somebody from Belgium had was coming over there. I still remember it vividly today. So it was really like they had this whole table filled with food when I arrived. I took some presents home with me when I left there. So that was a great experience. Certainly with with the home breaking up, and it never being really cozy at home. You know, it was never cozy.
So you could really see the difference from what we
Yeah,
would say like a normal type family
yeah,
would be like, a functional family compared to a dysfunctional family, like with what
yeah,
you were
yeah.
experiencing.
I remember going to a friend of mine, maybe the age of 10, 11, like with my bike, going to a friend of mine, and the father of the friend came home, and the mother was busy doing something in the kitchen. I don't know what, and he kissed the mother, like, "Hey, how are you?" on the cheek. And I remember that being a very, very awkward experience for me because I had never seen my parents do anything like that because they didn't even talk to each other, like never. So
Wow.
I don't know how they operated really, um, but seeing that made me feel really weird. But then later on, I learned that that is pretty normal.
Yeah.
So to continue, this Polish guy then came over to Belgium. So of course, uh, I wanted to show him as good as a time as I had had over there. Um, but I was already nervous because there was a lot of fighting going on at my house. So I took this guy from school. They arrived at the school, and I took him home with me. He was very tired. He wanted to take a shower and sleep a little bit. It was a long travel. But I came into the house, and my parents did not greet this young man. They did not talk to him. They were fighting with each other, and they just totally ignored him. So he took a shower, and then because it wasn't cozy at my home, and I had a girlfriend at that time, where it was a little cozier. I took the guy over there because that my teenage mind was like, okay, I'll just take him over there because I could see he was like, what the hell is going on here?
Right.
But so yeah, that was all pretty weird. But the next day, the guy talked to the principal at my school, and got transferred to another family. He told my school about the fighting going on,
Yeah.
and that he did not want to stay over at our house, which hurt pretty bad as a kid. Um,
I
and there,
imagine, sorry, I don't mean to
yeah, no,
interrupt, but no, I'm just imagining, you're wanting to show the same, level or close level of hospitality that
yeah,
the Polish
yeah,
family showed you. And I also imagine that, I mean, yes, that because going somewhere to another country and, and meeting, another boy from another country and getting to know them, that is something that's going to stay with you. That's a very memorable event. But I am certain that that's not the only event that has stuck in your mind when it comes to, some of this type of um,
yeah.
negativity growing up.
I was gonna say about that, just that I felt a really deep sense of shame
Yeah.
um, towards the guy, and that something I experienced a lot. Yeah, I think I could pretty much write a book with all types of
With all
occasions
of it.
like that. But so to fast forward a bit.
Mhm.
Um, my parents actually divorced then when I was about 15,
Right.
and it was it was crazy when you think about it. They so excuse me. So my dad was sleeping. They were sleeping in separate beds for a long time already.
Mhm.
Uh, but it, it was crazy, like really lunatic ridiculous fights. I remember my mom like my dad asking like why she was leaving, but not asking nicely. And then I remember my mom being like, well, we never share the bed anymore. We never have sex anymore. So my dad would go lay in her bed before she went to bed. Then she went to her bed. They started fighting again. Then she called the cops, and she said that he raped him. That he raped her. Sorry. And the cops would enter and question my dad and stuff, and we would all, me and my brother, would look at this stuff. Oh, it was crazy.
But he didn't. He didn't. Those
No,
were
he
just
didn't.
accusations. No,
I don't. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
not that I know of. I was in the house, so I think I would have noticed. No, I don't. No, my dad would not.
As a father, though, now, I mean, Levy is 12. I want to say 12.
He is 12. Yeah.
Yeah. As a father now, um, when you look back to your age at 12 and how you were treated, and you look at your son, um, what makes it different for you? How are you able to like go, you know what? I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm going to be different. Excuse me, different. How are you able to just make that differentiation?
Well, that's actually a good question. Because I would have to say that so I have to think about that one. So my parents then like completely abandoned me, and uh I was on my own. And to make a long story short, a lot of crazy stuff happened, and I was really really a shell of myself. But when you're depressed and unhappy long enough, I think you don't realize anymore that you're depressed. It's your, or at least in my case, it was my new normal. Like, okay, this is what being a grown-up is, being unhappy all the
Right.
time. So I lived like that for a while, and then me and my girlfriend at the time had Levi, had a baby, and we split up when he was 1 year old. It wasn't a planned baby, so it seemed at the time it seemed like I was making a mess of my life. I was feeling really bad about myself, and then now I had this kid with a girl that I realized I did not love. And I thought my life was over, really, like 100%. I thought like, well, okay, you fucked up, and you're never gonna be happy again. You're never gonna amount to anything in your life anymore. And that was like at the age of 24. But it really felt like that. It really felt like that. I was depressed. I was abusing some things, and
I'm
I
sorry,
had
when
a
you say
baby.
abusing some things, we don't want to, can you clarify what that is?
Oh yeah,
Because when you
sorry,
say abusing
abusing
some things, it makes it sound like
substances.
substances. Okay, so substance
Yeah,
abuse. Okay, thank you.
yeah. And I remember being in my bed with Levi being 1 year old, a year and a half, maybe something like that. And I remember thinking about it now very well, that I thought that all these people were judging me. Of course, not all the people were judging me, but a lot of people were judging me because it's easy to point a finger at, look at that guy, how he fucked up. And my parents were judging me. And they weren't like looking at themselves like, oh, where did I go wrong because my son turned out like this? I don't say, it's always all the parents' fault, but I would, if my son would, go down a path like that, I would ask myself the question,
Yeah.
did I have any part in this?
Right.
But to go on, I remember Levi, while I was depressed, while I was not myself, while I was cynical, while I was addicted, Levi looked at me with the biggest love in his eyes.
Yeah.
You know, he loved me anyway, like unconditionally. Do you understand? So I that kind of hit me. That kind of hit me, and that kind of made me think like, okay, I have to be there for this kid. I looked into his eyes and I thought, and then I thought by myself, okay, you've been accusing your parents for a lot of stuff, and it was justified. But are you gonna try to be a better parent, or are
Yeah.
you gonna be a victim and just fuck up and then and say to yourself and to other people, well, it's my parents' fault, I had a bad youth, stuff like that. So that was kind of the choice that I saw before me, and I didn't have to think long. I wanted to be a better dad, a better parent, and so I started to work on that.
Yeah.
But it's been a journey, I can tell you
And
that.
so what are the things that you did? Like did you went for therapy? What was that like?
Yeah, first I started to go into therapy for the abuse, the substance abuse. And I remember, maybe this is important to say, like I went to different places. I think 3 different places. Um, and I say this because um, I realized that it's not all the same who your therapist is. It matters that you have a certain connection,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you have that with this person, and I have that with that person. But the first 2 people I did not, or the centers that helped me or
Mm-hmm.
tried to help me, I did not have this connection. And then I was very, very lucky to meet a guy named Raf, that I would have to think really hard how long I've been seeing him, but I still see him today, and
Oh, wow.
I haven't been using in a long time, in years and years. So this man talked to me, and I talked to him, and he listened to me without judging. And I don't know. Apparently, he just knew the right things to say. And I'm not saying like while I was talking with him, I always uh, understood or knew immediately what to do. But
Mm-hmm.
like afterwards, after we talked, in the days after that, things started getting clearer. Maybe
Yeah.
it was also just being able to talk about it to someone and just freely say it to somebody that did not know any of my friends or my family. Just,
Yeah.
I could tell him everything. But this man is a really gentle man, has a really big heart. He's not big of
Yeah.
stature, but he has a really big heart. And I really love him. And I have seen him yesterday was the last time that I saw him.
Yeah.
And not on a weekly basis anymore, but when I have decisions to make that I that I can't when I can't really decide about something, or
Yeah.
when I need some advice, when I'm sad about something, when this man is also a sports coach. Is that how
Mm.
you
Mm-hmm.
say it?
Yeah.
So sports also really helped me a lot,
Yeah.
um, to get well again, to get a fit mind and a fit body.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I go to him.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I know, like, we message each other quite a bit, and you're always sending me, like, some YouTube music or some some type of inspirational talk, on YouTube, or some meme that's inspirational, or some beautiful photo. And so what part of that, I mean, you're sending it to me, so I'm imagining, you're looking the stuff up, and it's, why do you do that? Why do you do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. So there's actually, yeah, yeah. I had some really deep and unhappy times, and I started looking. I don't know. I think it started with a book from my grandfather, um, because of all this well, trauma is a big word, but I guess I can use trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because of all this undealt with things in my head, I was constantly under a huge amount of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, but not like for a long time, not realizing this being the new normal. Um, but at some time, I thought back. Yeah, I remember this. I thought back, and I thought, like, when I was like a kid, like before all the fighting of my parents, it was never a cozy home, but I was a happy kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was a happy kid. When I was a kid, I would look at little things, the sun coming up, a
Yeah.
flower in the garden, and I would just be happy. And I thought, where did I lose this, and why?
Yeah.
And can I get it back? Was the question that I asked myself. Can I get that back? Because I thought, if I can't, then life really isn't worth living, and also, if you want to be a good parent, can be a good parent if you're unhappy all the time and
Yeah.
stressed all the time. A kid can feel that. So I read this book that my grandfather had. It was in Dutch, but I'll translate it: Life Without Stress. And
Yeah.
it's about how you can train yourself, how you should be conscious of what the conversation is that goes on in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was always talking myself down,
Mm.
like, you're such a loser. See, your parents were right. You'll never amount to anything. Uh, you're a phony. Uh, you always quit, stuff like that, constantly, all day
Right.
long. And I started to realize that. And then I read this book, and in this book, they explain that these are not your own voices you hear. These are, you hear what people have been telling you your whole life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, and that, in fact, if you train yourself, that you can change this.
Okay.
And so by reading this book, I got a little bit better.
Yeah.
Then I was like, damn, this is really, because I used to be skeptical about books and about, but I was
Mm-hmm.
I was cynical, I was depressed, I was skeptical about everything. But
Right.
then I started, because we have this internet today, and I started to go on YouTube and look for things like that, and I discovered Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Is a German, I think German, yes, who is a German um, man who calls himself enlightened and gives lectures that
Mm-hmm.
you can also search on YouTube. He gives them in English with a German accent. He's
Mm-hmm.
a delightful man to watch. So it was really nice just watching these videos, but they also made a change inside of me. They brought me peace,
Yeah.
which I hadn't felt in years. So I was always like, when I got up every morning, I puked every morning because of the stress of starting the day.
Yeah.
I never slept well. Um, so and that all started to change. And then I discovered there's tons of stuff like that on YouTube. There's tons of stuff, and maybe I'll name some of the guys, but there's Eckhart Tolle, which it all started with, and then there was Muji. I don't know what country he is from. I think India or something. But he's also, if you're interested in this, you should really look that up. Moojji, I
Okay.
think. Um, and then I came to Alan Watts, who's
Mm.
who died already, I think in the 80s somewhere. A British man who was very smart, who got into banking, I believe, because of his father, and accounting and numbers. But then at some point he was like, well, this is not what life is all about. And he was, in one of his lectures, I think that's a very good quote. He says, a philosopher is someone who finds existence itself extremely odd. And yeah, so so if that's true, I'm a philosopher.
There you go. So these are a
um,
lot of the things that have been able to help you, is to be able
yeah,
to
and just
fill your mind with the positive, to get rid of the negative and fill your mind
exactly.
with the positive things, which is why you send that all of these lovely links to me, because
I want to
I'd love
share it
that.
with you.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not just the only person. I'm sure you share it, because that's what I love about you, Peter, is because you you've been through all of these things, and you've been on this road, this journey of healing, this healing journey, and you don't want to keep it to yourself. You want to share what has helped you with others, and that just makes you such a hero to so many people. Well, I
Thanks.
think so. I think so. And I just want you to know how much I love and appreciate you. So can you
Thank
tell
you.
me what makes your soul soar?
What makes my soul soar? So that's what hurts my soul, right? Is
No,
that?
what makes you happy?
Oh,
What makes you want to fly like a bird because you feel so wonderful?
oh, soar. Okay.
Soar. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Lots of things actually, and I rediscovered that, and I'm happy. There's lots of things I can choose from. Um, but the first thing that comes to mind is mountains.
The
And,
Canadian mountains. I know how much you loved them last summer.
also, and yeah, not just also, yeah, just definitely the Canadian mountains.
Hmm.
I've been in like uh, lots of regions with mountains and hills. But the Canadian ones were definitely, yeah, on the top of the list.
Yeah,
Yeah. When I'm in when I can climb a mountain in nature, and I can stand on top of it and like all sweaty and out of breath, and oh my God, then I'm so alive. Then my all the hairs on, I get goosebumps
yeah,
everywhere and just want to cry, and I'm just so happy. Yeah.
that's
Uh,
beautiful. And so I know we need to wrap up here, but can you just tell us your
oh,
plans very quickly for Mount Kilimanjaro? Because that is very exciting.
yeah. Well, you know how that started? That started I think almost 2 years ago now,
Hmm.
something like that. With me giving up one of my or the last, yeah, the last one of my bad habits, which was smoking. And I had a really tough time uh, because you see it everywhere. You can buy it
Hmm.
everywhere. You see it everywhere. I had a tough time quitting smoking. I did it in phases, and then I started doing a lot of sports because that also helps. And um, I think it must have been one of my motivational YouTube videos that I saw or heard while doing sports, that or Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I'm a huge fan of, that said you have to, yeah, I can hear him saying you have to set big goals for yourself. Okay? Um,
Nice, real nice.
and because yeah, I was always lots of people, and me too, me inclusive, we're always setting small goals
Hmm.
because then you're sure to achieve them and you can't fail. But that is not how you grow. You have to set big goals if you want. You don't have to do anything in your life, but if you want to grow as a
Hmm.
person, you have to set big goals that at first you are not sure about if you're going to achieve them, but you give it your all. And if you fail, um you just get up again, there's lots of motivational videos, and they're right. They say you don't fail if you get up again. You
That's right.
fall, you fall sometimes, you fall, you relapse, you fall, but you don't fail until you give up,
That's
you
true.
know? Yeah, that's very true, but I don't think everybody realizes it, and I definitely didn't. So now I do, and I said to myself, well, what big goal would I like to like? I thought when if I could do anything and money was no object, or
Hmm.
what would I like to do? And um, I was looking up things about climbing Mount Everest,
Yeah.
but
But
I think
that's a big goal. That's a really big goal.
that is no walk in the park.
No.
There's some really technical climbing there, and yeah,
Hmm.
the people devote their lives to doing that. Um, so I thought maybe that's a little, and I learned about Kilimanjaro, Mount Kilimanjaro, which is almost 6 kilometers high, um, but is not very steep. Um, so you can, well, walk is a little an understatement, but
It's a steadier climb.
Yeah,
it's yeah,
you can, Kilimanjaro is a good start if you want to like really do the seven summits or something like that.
yeah,
Um, and also I have always been in love with Disney's The Lion King.
yeah,
Uh, and at the intro, you see Mount Kilimanjaro and the Serengeti, which is around Mount Kilimanjaro. I've always wanted to go to Africa at least once in my life. So that became it. That became the goal.
that's
So
so
we're
exciting.
that's very exciting. Yeah. So we're preparing for that. And I think physically, I am pretty much in the shape I have to be. So now I'm just checking how everything works. Because you can't just go there and like, hey, I'm gonna climb this mountain. You have to
Yeah.
have a guide with you. You have to pay. You have to have a license to go up that mountain.
Hmm.
You have to pay the government taxes or license or whatever. All kinds of stuff like that. What do I need with me
Hmm.
over there? What can I rent over there? So I'm watching a lot of videos, talking to a lot of people, following web sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm super, super excited for you. And I want you to know that I'm really glad that you replaced that negative speak. I know I've already said that already, but I'm going to repeat that. Replacing that negative speech in your mind with the positive, because you can do this. And I
Yes,
know that you
yes,
can
and
do this.
everybody can, I think.
And I'm so
Um,
proud of you. So
thank you.
thank you for joining us today. And hopefully we'll be able to have you on again maybe after you've done Mount Kilimanjaro and you can tell us all
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
So
that would be cool.
yeah. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.